starts. KYRO lore change. KYRO is from another world. I can't remember the number right now. I genuinely can't. I also have it written down somewhere, but I'm not gonna go dig for that paper. Anyways, KYRO is the youngest of two brothers at Dratnir royal family. His brother Zeno is the eldest of the two, also the next in line for the throne after their father, James, the king. James likes to cause issues with other kingdoms and fight, such as like just causing big issues and fighting and wars and stuff. The issues got reflected onto the people in KYRO, basically because they were what's the word I'm looking for? Ignored or pushed aside. Well, the king and queen caused issues. KYRO's mom, in pair with the king, caused issues. Zeno, KYRO's brother, tended to all the responsibilities of both the king, queen, and himself. Due to this, he rarely had any time to spend with his brother, KYRO. KYRO would wander aimlessly and attend classes. Zeno and KYRO would sometimes watch over their younger cousin Zio whenever she visited. Zio's side of the family is from KYRO's sister's mother, Elena. Zio was from the neighboring kingdom, back to KYRO. KYRO would get bullied by the other kids in the kingdom when he wandered. Even though KYRO was of the royal family, he was viewed as an outcast due to the fact he looked different than the rest of the main family. KYRO's mother, the queen, Flora, had an affair with her sister's husband and had KYRO. No one knew they had the affair. KYRO's father thought the different looks were because of a genetic mutation thing. KYRO's brother, however, did not care for the fact they looked different and viewed KYRO as his only brother. I'll put pictures of everyone later. Yeah. The rival kingdom, ran by a kinder, more understanding king, launched an attack on KYRO's kingdom, shall we say, housing King James. When they attacked, they ended up burning down the castle and sent assassins to kill James and Flora. Zeno was running with KYRO in his arms and tossed him a few feet away as rubble from the burning castle fell on him. KYRO, leaning against a ruined wall, sat there in horror as he watched his only brother die. By the way, Zio's not here at this time. She's in a different kingdom. She's fine. She also does not know this is happening. When the king from the other kingdom was walking around the ruins of the castle, the king came across KYRO. By the way, the king's name from the other kingdom is called Lestiar. That's their family name. Oh fuck, where was I? And he came across KYRO. He showed KYRO mercy and let KYRO leave after attending to his wounds. KYRO, confused, asked why he was the only one that was allowed to live, and he responded with, "They treated you like they treated us, like just abusive, and they caused issues, and they didn't care, basically." Which was true. KYRO ran over his brother's body, still buried under the rubble. He tried moving the rubble but failed. Lestiar, the king, was standing there watching as this happened. He sent some men to help KYRO. When they uncovered Zeno's body, they dragged it away from the rubble and started digging a hole for his body. After he was done, he grabbed a piece of stone from the castle ruin and carved writing into it. Reading, Zeno Dratnir, a prince worthy of king, loving brother and a hope, then placed the stone at the head of the grave. The king patted KYRO on the head and walked away after saying his name. Again, his name is Lestiar. KYRO then wandered the forest and came across an abandoned house on the outskirts of the kingdom. KYRO lived there for about a year. He went to the village and worked to get money, food, and other things. But he was still viewed as an outcast, so job options for him were very limited. Also, he's a kid at this time. And when he was done for the day, he would go back to the abandoned house, his hideout, and he'd stay there for the night. KYRO didn't mind living this way. He thought it was better than the way he had lived with before. In his head, it's better than getting abused every day. One day while KYRO was at his hideout, his house, late afternoon, sun setting, a few looters, or bandits as you might say, came into the house. And they started searching the house and taking things and looting. And the actual writing for it stops there, but I can continue. Because as the bandits are doing this, KYRO, he's in his room at the back of the house. He's watching all of this happen. He's scared as hell. And then all of a sudden, a figure falls through the roof. That figure would end up being a person named Asteri. Yep. Asteri ended up attacking the bandits and stuff. And then I don't really know how to explain that whole situation because I don't have written in details of how they got brutally murdered, but that happened. And after that, it's basically a skit of Asteri walking up to KYRO going, "I just murdered your entire family, but I live alone." "Then who are these people in your house?" "There's people in my house." "Well, not anymore. You could have died. You're welcome." From that point on, they were basically friends. And anyways, back to Zio's side of the family. Elena and Flora, they were sisters, but they didn't really have a good relationship with each other, if you can say. Flora, KYRO's mother, was basically really, really narcissistic and self-centered. She didn't really give a shit about anybody except herself. And the only reason she even married James was for the money and the position of queen. But opposing her, her sister Elena, she was very kind, she was very thoughtful. She was also a queen of a different kingdom. But if you look at how the kingdom stood, you could tell that Elena's kingdom definitely held a higher status because of how many people were there and how the kingdom was. It was a lot better. And Elena and her husband John, yes, there's a lot of J's here apparently. They had Zio, but John, he was not a very loyal man, you see here. This rounds back to where I said KYRO's mother Flora had an affair with her sister's husband. John and Flora ended up having an affair. And it was not a one-night stand. No, this went on for a few months. And the end product of that was KYRO. And again, nobody ended up knowing about this. So yeah, that happened. And Elena and Flora ended up getting into some major argument. Again, Elena doesn't even know about this. The argument was about something else. And that's why Zio hadn't visited KYRO or Zeno in months and wasn't even aware that KYRO's kingdom was basically burned. Zio didn't visit the kingdom until like not seven, that's far too many, like a few years later. This will lead up to a skit that I'm gonna make with KYRO, where KYRO's visiting his home world, visiting the ruins, just going back on memories and stuff. And he runs across Zio, and apparently Zio's father, John, ended up telling Zio about the affair with KYRO.